Start.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Staying Alive WFPB. Does everybody remember what WFPB means? Whole food, plant-based. Excellent. And that's where we are. Today we are filming from Schmidt in Carmichael, California. Those of you who aren't familiar with Carmichael, it's a little suburb out of the capital, Sacramento, or as I knew it when I was growing up, Tomato. So here we are to demo something for St. Patrick's Day. But not only is St. Patrick's Day important because it's fun to celebrate, but what is the color? Green. And we are all about greens. Today we're celebrating greens and beans. Schmidt is an heirloom bean store here on Fairhurst Boulevard. And every month or so, we like to give classes focused on beans and greens. You can't see it, but the color of this is all celery green. So I wore my celery earrings because I do drink celery juice every morning. So today, let's talk about eating beans and greens. If you're familiar with Dr. Joel Fuhrman, he talks about G-bombs. Does anybody remember what G-bomb stands for? G is for greens, that we're celebrating today. B is for beans, that we're also celebrating. O is for onions. M is for mushrooms. B is for berries. And S is for seeds. And Dr. Fuhrman believes we need to have G-bombs every single day. Now yesterday, when I was in the hyperbaric chamber, that's my oxygen chamber that I go to, that we can talk about later, I skimmed through this book, The Plant-Based Solution by Dr. Joel Kahn. If you've never heard of him, I absolutely love him. I'm going to be doing my next blog, my blog post on this book. But let me just give you a few highlights of the book because he does talk about the importance of beans. Let me just say too, sometimes people have the impression that becoming plant-based or going vegan or whatever, they go, oh, I'd like to, but it's too expensive. Beans and rice are not expensive, and you can do anything with those. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious hummus from beans, no oil, no tahini. It's a cilantro lime hummus. Because nothing says Irish more so than cilantro and lime, right? So anyway, but it's important to get those greens in. Let me just read you a couple of things from Joel Fuhrman's book. Again, The Plant-Based Solution. This book was incredible, and I thought I had every plant-based book. Just his introduction is fantastic. I'm not going to read it now, again, you'll see more about that on our blog. If you haven't been to our blog, please go to stayingalive.wfpb.com and you'll find the website there. My co-host Al is Mr. Techno, and he knows how to do all the fancy stuff. I just show up, and because you know my motto, girls just want to have fun. In fact, Mrs. Producer, could you please cue that song?
We don't have a producer.
Oh, and we don't have the rights to that song, so we can, okay. I will not sing it because there are people in the audience that do not know me, and I want them to know me, so I'm not going to sing to them. So, chapter 8 from Joel Fuhrman's book, Beans, Not Butter, for Better Brains. I'm sure some of you are familiar with that, oh, butter is back theme and all that. That's not true. Being a medical researcher and doctor that he is, he gives you all the scientific evidence, which for me, it puts me to sleep, as you know that, but I do love the anecdotal studies, or not even studies, testimonials. So, and Dr. Fuhrman, and Dr. Kahn, and I think Dr. Greger, he's mostly the scientific one, but even Al, my co-host, has great anecdotal testimony as to why beans, not butter, are much better for your brains. So Dr. Kahn talks about the benefits of beans for multiple sclerosis, for Alzheimer's disease. He also talks about a stroke, taming multiple sclerosis with plants. But let me just tell you what he says about this, which is very important. Because, not as the podcast audience knows, but as some of you in the audience know, when I cook beans, what do? I always cook the entire bag of beans because I am not a cook. I am just sort of a put together, girls just want to have fun with food type person. So I make the entire bag of beans. Even though this recipe that I devised for you, and I'll tell you what it is, I said 2 cups of beans. Well, I already have those made, perfect. And you can freeze beans. So I usually freeze them in increments of 2 cups per freezer ready bag. Then I'll just put on there what kind of bean it is, then I'll pull it out, put it in the Instant Pot, load that up with some rice. We have another great recipe for the rice we have here at Chili Smith. Now for those of you who don't live in the area, podcast people obviously, you can order this organic heirloom rice from Chili Smith. You can order the beans from Chili Smith, and it's worth it. Because I'm not a great cook. Everybody loves what I cook. I am not a great cook, but I start out with great products. So that really helps. So back to what Dr. Joel Kahn talks about beans. Talks about preparing the brown rice and preparing the beans ahead of time. One way to save time and money during the week is to make one big batch of brown rice or white rice and a big batch of beans that you can eat all week. And remember, when you make the beans, I do not put any seasoning in the beans unless I know exactly what I'm going to do with those beans. Because one week I might go Indian, one week I might do Mexican. I make desserts. I make cheesecake and frosting. I know you
Brownies?
What?
Do you make brownies?
Brownies, yes. Can I say brownies with greens mixed together? Not those kind of brownies, okay? You will not find any sort of cannabis on our greens recipe. But yes, I make delicious brownies, and I make cupcakes, and all those good things, muffins with beans. So I don't want to season them while they're cooking with, let's say, a lot of salt, or obviously I don't use the regular salt, or a lot of spices, because brownies or muffins, they're not going to taste that great if I have all these different kind of spices and the Indian spices. So I wait until I know what I'm going to use them, and then I will heat them up or make whatever it is. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? The reason I chose green flageolet beans, I think it says St. Patrick's Day, more like a French bean, because it has the word green in it. And they're over there at Chili Smith, but that's the kind I made for you today. And I wanted to also show you the consistency, because I made hummus, and this hummus is delicious, and we're going to taste this hummus in just a little bit. Can you see that okay? Oh, it smells so good. It's a cilantro lime hummus. And we have crackers that we also sell at Chili Smith that are Twyla approved. Twyla approved just means everything is whole food plant-based and no oil. So that's really important too. We're all about connection here. So if you say, well, why no oil? You don't have to listen to me. You can listen to Al, my co-host. But even more importantly than Al, I would listen to Dr. Esselstyn, Esselstyn, and he will just shout at you, because I met him in person, and when he's giving his seminar, if you see someone like Al who's starting to fall asleep, all of a sudden go, no oil! Everybody go like crazy out. He does believe in oil in one case though, Al. Have you heard of that case where he does believe in oil?
No.
Yeah, that's for your car, okay? So he says oil is okay for your car. We are obviously not cars, and there's no reason for us to consume oil. Remember how processed oil is. If you were to grow everything in your backyard, let's say you had everything would grow in your backyard. You've got the perfect soil. You could grow pineapples, you could grow olives, you could grow everything. You cannot grow an oil tree, okay? I don't care how many times you've watched Wizard of Oz. We don't need that oil can going in our mouths. It takes 44 olives to process a tablespoonful of olive oil. Chef AJ has a great video on this. She talks about filling up your stomach and being satiated. And so 1 tablespoon of oil has way too many calories. It's too processed, and Dr. Esselstyn will give you all the epophilia, is that how you pronounce it, Al? Why the oil is not good for your heart. And the reason I follow Dr. Esselstyn on that is because he is the MD that actually turns on the chainsaw, saws down the middle of your chest, opens it up, and takes a look. And has to take all those arteries from your leg and plug them back into your heart. So he's on a big mission now. He says, you know, we as MDs, and not me, remember, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a registered dietitian, I'm just a cheerleader. Okay? I'm just a cheerleader for whole food plant-based. As I said in our first podcast, I'm just a disseminator. Not the Terminator, like Arnold, but Arnold does have a good movie out, The Game Changers, which is excellent, but we'll talk about that one in a different podcast. But I'm just a cheerleader. But Dr. Esselstyn, he is the one that actually opened patients up. And what he says is that as a medical doctor, especially as a cardiologist, we shouldn't be the ones at the bottom of the mountain sewing you back up and repairing those arteries. We need to be standing on top of the mountain saying, don't jump, I'll show you how to prevent and reverse heart disease. If you listen to Dr. Kim Williams, he was in charge of all the cardiologists, and he recently said that everyone, especially cardiologists, need to be telling their patients about the benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. So that's the way, back to my Joe O'Connor. He recommends making this food ahead of time, which is crucial. Because if you're just starting to go whole food plant-based, and remember, we're all about connection, we're not about competition or confrontation, but if you see my car and I'm driving down the road and you see me with potatoes and mustard, okay, people think that's weird. I don't know why they don't think French fries and ketchup is weird, but for some reason when they see me eating steamed potatoes and mustard, they think that's weird. But if you don't have a lot of food ready, you will be so tempted to drive through those other places like Taco Bell or Wendy's or all those other things. So the reason this plan works so well for everyone is because how many calories do we count? 0. I never say, people say, well, how many does this feed? Well, if there's no one in class, I'm going to go and eat the whole thing. Because you don't have to worry about calories and portion control, just like ox don't or gorillas don't. They'll just keep eating their food, eating the greens. You don't have to count calories or worry about that. All right, back to the class. So here we are. I also want to give you a couple of tips on how to get the most out of things like maybe you want to go to the store and I just don't feel like cooking all that. We're in a greens mood. Just pick up this super greens. It's organic. There's no oil in it. I tell people though, if they ever want a class on reading labels, I'll give you that class right now. You ready? Just eat anything that does not require a label. How easy is that? But in real life, you probably won't do that. So, you go to the store, you can buy this. You've got already your beans made. Put this in the Instant Pot. Put some of those frozen beans that you put away in your batch cooking. Heat it up, and it'll be all ready by the time you get home. Now, anything that you buy from McDougall or Engine 2, totally safe. You don't really need to read the label because McDougall's and Engine 2 products will never have any oil in it. But some people might go, oh, the sodium's too high in this. I tell you what then, dilute it with some broth, either the stuff you made at home or Engine 2 broth. Imagine's broth does not have any oil in it. Add your beans, add more beans, add some more vegetables, add some rice that you've already made. You've got a perfect meal that will last you not just one night, like this might, but 2 or 3 days. Same thing with this one. This one's the lower sodium. That split pea soup could get kind of boring. Let's add some beans to it. Let's add some more kale to it, or any green that you want. All right? So, any questions? Oh, let me tell you about this book. So, I love books. probably too much. I'm trying to get more from the library or buy them and then give them away. So I bought this book, obviously exceptional value, $9.99, plant-based cooking, because I cannot cook from a cookbook that does not have pictures anymore. So that's what I love about Dr. Greger, How Not to Diet. His books all have pictures. So I'm looking at, oh my gosh, these pictures look great. Only, guess what? I have butter in these recipes and cheese in this recipe, and I'm like, wait, that's not plant-based. Well, they can get away with saying plant-based because there are some plants in it. So you can kind of watch out for that, or you can get the cookbook and then just improvise. I make a delicious cheese sauce out of beans. Not that there's anything wrong with the cashew cheese ones, but again, I just don't tolerate nuts all that well. And so I make cheese sauces out of beans and different things that you could also make. You don't have to use, obviously, cheese, but they've got some really great pictures in here. Al, you might want to take some lessons from their food photography, the way they set that up. But really nice. So you don't worry about it if you get a plant-based book and you say, what's all this cheese and butter? Forget about that. Don't use that. The reason I want to show you these beans that I made is I want to show you the consistency. I made them in... That's pretty. But that Instant Pot? Mine doesn't make a sound like that. It makes a different sound. Or is that your phone?
I'm gonna turn it off.
Oh, is that your phone?
Make sure it's not ringing.
That's so funny. I thought it was...
Could have been my phone.
I thought it was an Instant Pot. I'm like, oh, I want one that plays that pretty music. I want to show you a couple of things about the beans in here. The consistency of which I cook them. Now you might say those are really mushy. Remember what I'm using them for, hummus. I wanted them really mushy. I want them super mushy if I'm making hummus, if I'm making cheese sauce, if I'm making brownies, if I'm making cheesecake, which isn't a cheesecake, it's a bean cake, but that doesn't sound very good. So I want to show you the consistency. I also, though, this is really important, I have used egg replacers since probably most of you, longer than most of you have been alive, and I've always used Energy Egg Replacer, Bob's Red Mill egg replacer. Some people use the flaxseed and the vinegar, but the best egg replacer I have ever used is this, and it's called Aquafaba. That's A-Q-U-A-F-A-B-A, Aquafaba. If you're on Facebook, which I lovingly refer to as Fakebook, you will find an Aquafaba group there with probably 40,000, 50,000 followers, all about how to make different things with aquafaba. And aquafaba is the bean juice left over from cooked beans or canned beans. I don't use canned beans anymore, but the cooking water. So I don't soak my beans anymore either because of the Instant Pot, but when I did soak the beans, it's not the soaking water that you can use for aquafaba, it is the cooking water. So just kind of be aware of that. Yes, this is the best egg replacer. Whether you're making pancakes or muffins or any sort of egg thing you can use. They've even made macaroons with this aquafaba. They've even made meringue. So I'm just kind of showing you, Al, is that coming through, this thick, scoopy stuff? So that's the aquafaba, all right? Now I want you to taste these beans, and I know they're gonna taste really mushy, but remember that's what we're going for because it's going to be turned into hummus. So let's see, there's about 15 of you. You can pause it while I pass out the beans. No, not really, don't really do that now because that would take too long. All right, so I'll just bring this to you. And you can try these beans while I'm talking. So glad all of you, except my co-host, love the beans, just plain, because I'm a rather plain, boring person. Al is the dynamic, outgoing one. So I can eat just plain beans and rice. Al has a much more sophisticated palate, and so he needs a little bit more. He needs a good cook like his wife, Dottie. Okay, me, as some of you know in the audience, and I tell the story all the time, I can come home open a BPA-free can of peas, open some veggies, and I just eat out of the cans, just like a dog. But I could, if I was that hungry. Now I'm going to tell you how I made this delicious hummus, which it could be thicker, but I don't really like it thick because I like to use it more as a sauce. And it is, I call it Twyla's Greens Hummus, or Twyla's Beans and Greens, or something like that. And what I did is I took 2 cups of these beans that you just tasted, the green flageolet beans. I took one bunch of organic cilantro, using just the leaves. I used 1/4 cup fresh squeezed organic limes, and I used 4 cloves of garlic. Now I know that might sound like a lot of garlic, but I really like garlic. To me, if something says 1 clove of garlic, I'm like, why waste that? I put 4 cloves of garlic in here, which really helps your immune system and keeps you nice, strong, and healthy. One tip that you could add jalapeno, I did not, because a lot of people who take the class, taste can be so subjective. For instance, there's someone in the audience today, Paul, he thought the beans were just great. I thought the beans were just great as they were. But then there was one other person in the audience, my co-host, who thought it was too bland. So I try to keep everything more bland? How would I say that? Blander. Not slander, but blander. Because some people go, this is way too spicy. So if it's too spicy, it's already made. But if it's not spicy enough, you could always add more garlic. You could always add a jalapeno. You could always add whatever you want to spice it up. But once that spice is in there, it's going to be hard to take it out. So that's what I did. Let me just give you a little hint. I made all of this in the food processor. It is better the day after, so I didn't make it yesterday because it thickens up a little bit. I processed in the food processor the leaves, the cilantro leaves first with the lime juice, just to get it kind of the mushy or whatever. Then I added the 2 cups of green flageolet beans, the garlic, and the okay, I already have the lime juice in there. I would add jalapeno because I like it, things a little spicy, but I did not add jalapeno to this. We have Twyla's approved crackers and the dip. So, do you want to pause it again while everybody comes up and eats, or do you want to keep it going?
No, I'm gonna come up and eat one.
All right, good. You can eat one, see what you think.
I am.
Isn't that, I think it's delicious. Okay, that looks like a bird, okay, that you just landed on there, all right? Too spicy for you, Al?
No, it's
You
good.
like it?
Yes,
You do?
yes.
You feel like a little bit on the plate?
How about, do you want a little cup, Paul?
I was gonna put it in the beans.
Oh, you are? Look
Yeah.
how smart he is. Talk about a good, I have a ladle too, if you'd rather ladle
This
it.
will work.
Okay, good. So I do another class tonight, so Paul, you'll probably be able to eat 2 or 3 cups of that, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of limit yourself.
Oops, sorry.
No, that was my co-host who made a big mess. That's all right. I'll just clean up after him like I usually do in every situation. Okay. So that is how I made that hummus. We also have, I know for you podcast people, I'm sorry you can't taste it, but it is delicious. I urge you to make this. It will stay in the refrigerator.
They can't taste it either.
I know they can't see it, smell it, or taste it. Unless you come to a class, but if you're local, come to a class. Speaking of which, my next class is going to start April 7th, right here at Chili Smith. Even if for some reason the Renaissance through Sac State decides to cancel it, I'm still going to have the class, so you're still welcome to attend. If you want to attend, it's going to be a 6-week class. My theme is going to be sheep. No, we don't eat them, no, we don't wear wool, but sheep, S-H-E-E-P. It's going to stand for sleep, because sleep is so important when it comes to overall health. Remember, WFPB, whole food plant-based, it's not just about food, it's about your entire lifestyle. Because when you feel better the way you eat. You're going to feel better in so many different ways. So we do need our sleep. So I have a sleep expert coming in, and then H for healthy eating, which we'll all be eating healthy because they are potluck classes. Everything is going to be whole food, plant-based, no oil. So you're able to eat and talk and meet each other and socialize, because that's another thing that's really important. So we've got S for sleep, H for healthy eating, E for exercise. Exercise is really important. If you watch Dr. Greger on his podcast or audio or video cast, he'll be giving his lecture while he is on the treadmill. And it's kind of funny, we don't have treadmills here, but I'm bringing over the woman from Pace Fitness, and she's going to talk about why exercise is so important, especially as we age. Then the other E, because we're on the sheep thing, is enjoying socialization. If you watch any of Dan Buettner from the Blue Zones, he talks about, or some of the Adventist stuff, you will realize the importance of socializing and how important that is as we get older. And then that's the second E. And then P is positive attitude. Because if you go into this plant-based journey thinking, I can't eat anything, that's not a good attitude. If you go into it thinking, this is going to be so great, I don't have to worry about the meat aisle, I don't have to worry about cheese and dairy. I can focus on plants. I can focus on all the fun food we'll have. I already know what I'm going to eat. Might be some rice and beans and veggies. A better attitude. Instead of saying, I can't have this, I can't have that, you want to think positive. Oh good, I get to try this. Oh good, I get to try that. So you want to make sure you maintain a positive attitude. So that's our message for today. Please join us for our next podcast. I am so happy that I have all of you here in the studio audience. Again, if you're interested in my
And keep those cards and letters coming.
which you can tell how old he is. Al, no one writes cards or letters anymore. Keep those emails and those positive comments on Instagram coming.
What she says.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. If you're interested in the class, you can email us at stayingalivewfpb@gmail.com or plantbasedtwy@gmail.com. Find out more information, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.